Today, the grand old team stands at the crossroads. By next season, its time run out. A takeover team waits in the dugout with plans to redevelop Celtic Park. An extraordinary general meeting of Celtic shareholders will decide whether they take control. The glory days can return, say the challengers, with a hard-headed businessman in charge.
I'm not a Santa Claus. I'm an investor, and I expect to get my money back eventually. This is not a donation. I think Celtic can be made into not only a successful football team, but a successful business. My plan is to raise and inject £17.9 million into Celtic Football Club. Use the money as a platform to invest a total from other, including from other sources, of in excess of £35 million towards redeveloping the park, rebuilding the business, solving the financial problems, and improving the side.
In your view, is there an alternative?
I don't, there's an alternative which could be a declining, tiny, debt-ridden soccer club with a problem, without a stadium, and with players leaving, and so on and so on. And we've seen the 5 years what's gone on. Celtic continuously dealing from weakness, for selling players in a fire sale, running after a manager and paying any price, who knows. But all the other things they've been doing is not from a position of strength. And I think the losses they've sustained over the last 3 years, which are over £5 million, show that they're continuously getting weaker. And let me say another thing. The people who are the directors now say they're only trustees. They're only, custodians. They're not there for personal benefit. Fine. I'm saying, right, well, let's get the best thing for Celtic Football Club, because that's what it comes down to. What is the best for Celtic Football Club?
The view of the so-called rebels, rejected by the board. The rival New Deal plan from the Celtic old guard amounts to no less than the provision of a brand new super stadium at Cambuslang, at no cost to the club, allegedly a prototype for football's future.
We're inventing the wheel. Nobody has ever gone out and put together a series of debt-free stadia and developed a network of debt-free stadia across a single country before. It's not just Celtic's ground. I have to present this. This is a multi-purpose facility for Glasgow Cambuslang, of which Celtic is the anchor tenant. There's a lot more going to be going on at this facility than Celtic Football Club.
Celtic Football Club has problems. A massive overdraft, no trophies in 4 years, disgruntled fans staying away. But with an extraordinary general meeting due on the 26th of this month, the Celtic board has been drip-feeding good news to the fans. The Lou Macari signing, runs the story, will lead to on-field success and the triumphal return of fans through the turnstiles.
If you look at the attendance figures for recent games, you'll see that there is a boycott going on. Not an organised boycott, but there are 10, 12, maybe up to 20,000 fans out there who do not go to the football, who do not go to watch Celtic on a Saturday anymore. They have found something else to do, and many of them will tell you that they will not go back to see Celtic as long as the Celtic board as it's present.
The fans feel outraged and ill-used by the board and plan more pressure, plotting how best to bring it about.
The very thought of a boycott, for me, I would never ever agree with it. Up until the last few years, things have really just got to a certain point where it's just come to a breaking point where really, I don't think the board understands just how sick and tired we are. We've followed them faithfully for years, and we're not some hooligans from out with the club. We're season ticket holders. We love this club a lot more than they'll ever know. The question of a boycott is the only thing we can really do to hurt them in the pocket. And if it comes to it, as a last resort, I would support it.
A boycott and Celtic's gate receipts will slide yet further. Can the bank maintain its stiff upper lip?
I found the bank stance quite amazing. I mean, I think that if you and I decided to open a business in Glasgow, and we approached the leading bank, and we said, oh, by the way, we haven't got a business plan, and we haven't got any accounts, and we haven't got any budgets, and we haven't got any projections, and we haven't got any forecasts, but could you please lend us £2 million? They would just laugh at us. But that was the situation that the Bank of Scotland were allowing Celtic to trade under.
Is the bank going to lend them more? I mean, the basic problem they have at the moment is that they have obviously pushed up the amount of money they're spending in wages, pushed up the amount of money they're spending on signing on fees and transfer fees to try and bring that success. They've been spending more, really, than probably well, I'm sure they knew that they could strictly justify in terms of the turnover that they were actually getting.
I would suspect that Celtic they've gone as far as they can with the current overdraft facility. And I think the banks have said to them, look, enough is enough. We've now got to start looking at ways of getting this money back.
Step forward Fergus McCann, Scots-born Canadian millionaire, and his right-hand man, Brian Dempsey.
You can go first because you're the leader.
McCann is pledging £10 million of his own cash to get control of the club and, he claims, save the day.
We've put together a plan which will generate the kind of cash that no British football club has ever seen before. It will also mean, obviously, there are going to have to be some changes. There's going to be some changes in the people running the club, and I expect it to be on a full-time basis. I'm not denying that. So now we've come to this point where there is a final meeting, a decision has to be made, yes to this capital, or no, up or down.
If the club sticks with the old regime for the future?
Well, it's a decision that they have to make, but they have to make that decision knowing there are two other bigger decision makers outside the room. One is the Bank of Scotland, who control all its assets, and the other is the supporters who control its entire income. They are the people who also will be making a decision, either to support the club or not, financially.
When Fergus McCann first approached Celtic's board, plan in hand, 5 years ago, they simply wrote him off.
They all said, oh no, just forget Fergus. Fergus is an eccentric, but we know about Fergus, but just forget him, he's not a player in any of this. And here you are 5 years down the line, Fergus is a major player.